The night was thick with tension. After his daring escape, the orange cat hid among the shadows of the old mill, his wounds still burning from the chains and claws of the green dog. The parrot perched on his shoulder, whispering plans of survival, maps of hidden corners, and secret passages long forgotten by the tyrants. Every breath the orange cat took was heavy with pain, yet his eyes glowed brighter than ever, burning not with fear but with resolve. News of his survival spread through the barnyard like wildfire. The sheep huddled together in quiet awe, whispering his name as if it were already legend. The donkey stomped the ground with newfound pride. Even the timid white duck, who had always bowed her head under oppression, began to waddle with cautious hope. For the first time in years, the animals dared to believe that change was possible, but hope alone could not break the chains. The black pigs were furious. They gathered in their dark chamber where the mud was stained with the remnants of countless meals stolen from the others. The largest of the pigs, their leader, slammed his hooves into the ground. "The orange cat must be crushed," he bellowed. "His rebellion ends now." The green dog growled, eager for blood, while the yellow dog wagged his tail nervously, torn between obedience and hidden doubt. The red cow, ever loyal, sang praises to the pigs, declaring that their strength was unmatched, that the cat's defiance was but a spark that would die in the storm. Yet deep inside, even she wondered if her songs could drown out the roar of a rising revolution. Meanwhile, the orange cat began to gather allies. Under the cover of night, he met with the goat, who offered sharp horns for defense, and the donkey, who promised endurance and strength. The sheep pledged unity, their numbers vast, though their courage fragile. The hens, though frail, promised eggs for trade and secrets overheard in the barn. Each animal, once broken by fear, now found a voice within themselves, because the cat had shown them that resistance was possible. Still, unity came with doubts. "What if we fail?" bleated one of the sheep. "What if they kill us all?" The orange cat stood tall despite his scars. "Then, at least," he said, his voice cutting through the silence, "we will fall fighting, not living as slaves." His words struck like thunder. Even the duck, timid as she was, puffed her feathers in defiance. The first act of rebellion came quietly. The parrot flew into the storage room where the pigs hoarded the harvest. With his sharp beak, he broke the locks, and under the pale moonlight, the animals took back what was theirs: grain, fruit, and hay. For the first time, the sheep ate without permission. The donkey chewed without fear, and the hens pecked freely. The taste of freedom was sweet, and it filled their hearts with courage. When the pigs discovered the theft, rage consumed them. The green dog tore through the fields, snapping at shadows, while the black pigs roared for vengeance. Yet no animal confessed. They stood together, silent, united in defiance. This silence enraged the rulers more than screams ever could. The conflict escalated. The pigs demanded more labor, more milk, more eggs, more blood. The animals resisted with small rebellions. The goat refused to pull carts. The donkey slowed his pace. The hens laid their eggs in hidden places. Little acts of defiance, like drops of water, soon became a flood. But the price of rebellion was steep. The green dog caught a young sheep straying from the flock and dragged him before the pigs. In front of all the animals, the pigs made an example of him, beating him until he could no longer stand. The barnyard shook with fear, but the orange cat did not waver. "Remember this moment," he told them. "This is why we fight." The parrot's sharp eyes saw further than most. "They are strong now," he whispered to the cat, "but their strength comes from fear. Break that, and they crumble." The orange cat nodded. He knew the time was coming when whispers and small rebellions would no longer be enough. The barnyard was preparing for war. One stormy night, lightning split the sky as the orange cat climbed atop the old wooden fence. His silhouette stood against the storm as he called out to the animals. "We have lived in chains. We have bled for them. We have given our milk, our eggs, our sweat, and our tears. But no more. Tomorrow we rise." A roar echoed through the barnyard. Sheep bleated, donkeys brayed, goats stomped, ducks quacked, hens clucked, and even the timid harts cried out in unison. The sound shook the very ground beneath them, reaching the ears of the pigs who, for the first time, felt a tremor of fear. The black pigs rallied their dogs, their loyal cow, their iron grip over the barnyard. But no matter how loud their orders, they could not silence the thunder in the animals' hearts. On the eve of the uprising, the barnyard sank into an uncanny silence. No more frenzied barking from the dogs, no more shrill commands from the black pig. Only the whistling of the wind through the thatched roofs and the pounding of countless hearts echoed in the night. Every creature knew, when the sun rose, nothing would ever be the same. The orange cat sat on the roof of an old shed, its golden eyes glowing like two embers. Scars still ran across its body from the torture it had endured, yet, within every breath, every twitch of its tail, there was a new kind of strength, not of claws or fangs, but of belief. Below, the sheep gathered in a circle. The old donkey tapped its hooves like the beat of war drums. The goats lowered their heads, ready to strike, and even the trembling ducks huddled together, summoning courage they never knew they had. Suddenly, from afar, a horn's mournful blare tore through the stillness. It was no call of freedom. It was the rallying signal of the black pig. The ground quaked as chains clattered and snarls echoed. The green dog led the pack forward, followed by the red bull with its furious eyes, and an army of swine stamping the mud under their hooves. Their shadows blotted out the moonlight like a storm devouring the sky. High above, the parrot swooped through the clouds, shrieking, "Prepare yourselves! They are coming!" The cry pierced the night, igniting a fire in every heart. But at that very moment, something strange stirred among the ranks of the animals. A small figure quietly slipped away from the circle. It was a timid gray rabbit no one had ever noticed before. But it did not run toward the orange cat. It walked straight into the darkness where the black pig's forces gathered. Before anyone could react, the rabbit vanished, swallowed by the shadows. Moments later, triumphant cheers erupted from the swine army, as though they had just been handed a secret victory. The orange cat's ears shot up, its heart pounding. "Betrayal," it growled under its breath. But who had betrayed them, and what secret had been given away to the enemy? No one could say. The black pig marched forward, its bloodshot eyes glowing, its voice booming like thunder. "Tomorrow, blood will soak this field. Either you kneel or you vanish forever." The animals trembled, but the orange cat did not bow. It leapt from the rooftop and landed between the two armies, standing tall like a living banner. The wind swept through its ragged fur, making its golden eyes blaze even brighter. "No," it answered, steady and unyielding. "Tomorrow will not be your day. It will be the dawn of freedom, for all of us." Two forces faced each other. On one side, the ruling swine with their snarling dogs and the loyal Red Bull. On the other, the small but determined rebels whose only weapon was hope. The entire barnyard held its breath, as though the earth itself braced for an explosion. Then, in the fragile stillness, a lightning bolt split the heavens, illuminating the scene. The orange cat, unbroken and defiant, standing between the forces of oppression and the animals yearning for liberation. Thunder roared across the skies, a herald of the storm to come. And then, the night sealed itself shut, leaving the audience standing at the threshold of the greatest battle in barnyard history. Will freedom truly be born from blood and tears? Can the orange cat lead when betrayal hides in the shadows of its own ranks? The night dragged on, heavier than iron chains. The animals dared not sleep, for every creak of the barn, every gust of wind seemed like a whisper of doom. Mothers clutched their chicks and lambs tighter, while the elder donkey kept pacing restlessly, muttering that the earth itself was holding its breath. The orange cat remained still, yet its mind was ablaze. The betrayal of the gray rabbit gnawed at its heart. What had the rabbit whispered to the swine? A secret passage, a hidden weakness? Or worse, names of those who had pledged loyalty to the cause? The cat's claws dug deep into the earth, but it forced its voice steady, for the others looked to it as their only beacon. In the distance, torches flared like a forest of fire. The black pig soldiers chanted, a guttural rhythm that shook the night. The green dogs lunged at their chains, eyes wild with hunger, while the red bull pawed at the soil, its breath steaming in the cold. They were not coming as rulers tonight. They were coming as executioners. The parrot swooped down, whispering frantically, "They march faster than expected. By dawn they will surround us completely. There will be no escape." The orange cat's tail lashed. "Then we do not run, we stand." But even as the words left its mouth, doubts spread among the ranks. The ducks quivered, their beaks clattering. The sheep bleated in fear, wondering if they were walking straight into a slaughter. And yet, when their eyes met the cat's, something kept them rooted. An invisible chain, not of fear,